Hello and welcome to Drive-In Double Feature Podcast. I'm Nathan,
I'm Ryan.
and this is the podcast where we talk about two movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before we get into this week's episode, I want to talk to you about our Patreon. If you head over there just for $5 a month, you help support the channel, and also you get some fun bonus content over there. We might not have uploaded in a little bit, but look forward to some more content over there soon. But you also help support us rent movies and stuff like that over here. But getting into today's episode, we are talking about Dark Knight of the Scarecrow from 1981. Now, I didn't know when I picked this. This is a TV movie, which we've talked about a few TV movies, but
Mhm.
this one aired on CBS around Halloween in 1981. I don't know. I guess I don't have a lot of
Where's
experience.
Batman?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Batman, Dark
Batman versus
Knight.
Dark Knight versus the Scarecrow. That's what I looked up.
Yeah, so you just looked up like a scene of them
Yeah.
fighting from the movie.
hmm Yeah,
It's good,
that's what
right?
I watched. That's what we were supposed to talk about this week.
Yeah, the scene from Batman Begins. That's what we were supposed to talk about.
Yeah, no, the scene from Dark Knight Rises when Scarecrow has his cameo.
Oh yeah, when he's like the judge or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
just that
Okay.
scene. We got to talk about that for like 20 minutes.
Okay. If I remember, I kind of remember he like judges people to death, and they go out onto the ice and they like sink under the ice, right?
I don't know, Nathan. You told me you just watched it.
I no,
I
I watched Dark Knight of the Scarecrow starring Charles Durning, Robert F. Lyons, Lane Smith. Does any of this sound like familiar to you?
Oh yeah, I've seen that like 50 times.
Oh, perfect. Okay, well then we don't then we're good. Um, but yeah, I guess speaking of the cast, it is the return of Charles Durning, who is the star of this movie as a mailman. And we've covered him a few times on this channel as I've like come to find out as we've dug in. He was in Hi Mom, When a Stranger Calls, The Fury, and Cop. And then just add this one to the list of movies we've talked
Almost
about.
all movies you picked, I noticed.
Yeah, except for, well, wait, hold on. Did I pick When a Stranger Calls?
No, I did that, and I did
And
Hi Mom actually.
yeah, so it's half and half actually. That's funny.
You're
Um,
the big Durning head. I get it. You,
yeah,
you you wanted to make a point that you're a bigger Durning fan than
yes,
me. Well, congratulations, you
yeah.
made your point.
Don't worry, I'm gonna keep. This is Durning month. That's the secret theme this month.
We're at
Uh,
a Durning point. I get it.
I like that. That was good. Um, but so I guess the movie doesn't start with him though, and kind of what starts up this movie it doesn't really work with him. So it actually starts with um Bubba, who is played by Larry Drake, who you might know as Pops from Johnny Bravo, the guy who owns the diner.
Yes.
That's him. Isn't that weird?
It's weird. I
But
wasn't expecting that.
yeah, yeah. But Larry Drake is Emmy winning. Sorry, I should say in an Emmy winning performance here. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm
he
fine.
won. What?
I'm screwing with you. No, he
I
won an.
think.
I wanted to see what your reaction would be. No, he won an Emmy for L.A. Law later in the '90s. Just,
My
no,
God.
no. Larry Drake plays somebody who is mentally handicapped, intellectually disabled. Simple is what they would probably call it back then. I liked it in your review. You said like, oh, this is where Simple Jack started from Tropic Thunder. It definitely is that. I was gonna make a joke that, oh, this is a very tasteful. No, he is going above and beyond with the shtick, making faces. He kind of looked like Don
Wearing little
Knotts.
kids' clothes.
Yes, overalls, like a kid's hat. He is really doing it up. And in the beginning of the movie, he's playing with a little girl, and for whatever reason, the mailman in this town and a few other dudes hate this guy. They like from the sound of it, from the history, they just beat him up because they think he's trouble. He's never done anything wrong, but they just think, oh, he's with the little girl, so he's gonna hurt the little girl because he's stupid, kind of deal. So yeah, that's where everything starts, and they're just looking for a reason to lynch him. Well, in quite a twist of fate, the little girl sneaks into the backyard of a person's home where where there's a dog and she gets bitten, and then he gets blamed for it for a very short amount of time. And I mean that's kind of it. Larry Drake has a few more scenes, but that is kind of it for him, and he's kind of like the draw of this movie because it's a revenge plot in a way. What did you think of his performance, Ryan?
Not great.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty bad.
it's I mean, I get, he was trying to be like, oh, he's like he has the mind of a child or whatever, but it was
Yeah.
just like it's just like how you would expect somebody would act in that role. It's like, oh, Bubba
Um,
didn't do nothing wrong. Bubba didn't hurt no girl. Like,
exactly. It's so over the top. And I actually think it's probably a good thing that he's out of the movie in the first 10 minutes. Because he goes home to his mom, and his mom's like, okay, hide from them. So he hides in a scarecrow. But of course, they find out. So it's like a lynch mob with the mailman in the front, but a bunch of other Southern dudes, and they shoot him. They all shoot him in cold blood, and it's so funny how this movie does it. They shoot him, and then immediately they get a call like, "Hey, Bubba didn't do it. You need to."
yeah,
Isn't that crazy that he didn't do it, and
yeah,
they just killed this guy in cold blood?
yeah, they just murdered this man and like obliterated him, just like fired all these bullets into him, just
I
like,
I think in the
oh,
courtroom they say something like 30 shots,
yeah, they're like he had 21 bullet holes in him,
which is
and
insane.
he had a pitchfork.
Yeah, exactly. And they gave him the pitchfork after, so they could say like that they came at him. And yeah, there is a courtroom scene in this movie, and like it's one of like the most like unrealistic courtroom scenes I've ever seen in a movie. Like these lawyers are like yelling at each other, and like one takes evidence, the pitchfork, and literally tosses it on the ground to make a point, which that would never happen.
Or it just like basically like, what were you doing over? Because they tell Charles Durning like, what were you doing over there? Like you had no jurisdiction.
Mhm.
You were you're literally just like a fucking mailman, and just like
A
why
mailman with a gun in a government
what
building.
what business did you have to go over there? It's like, well, it's just, we were just making sure she was okay, making sure Bubba didn't kill her or whatever. We just came over and but then like the prosecutor or like the defense attorney was basically just like sorry, he just came in as a concerned citizen,
Uh-huh.
and they're like with four guns, like, just I just killed an innocent man.
Exactly. But of
Like
course,
I like that one prosecutor, I was just like, he was just like, are you guys crazy? Or like,
no, exactly. And I mean, the judge doesn't like prosecute them because the lawyer could not prove that,
well,
like, prove against what they were saying. Um,
yeah. And
which
they're
is
like, oh well, these are fine, upstanding citizens, and
mhm.
they wouldn't do no harm if they knew what they were doing. Like,
Exactly. And like there's no remorse from these guys. They literally leave the courtroom like cheering and happy, and the whole town is like, "Yeah." Which is crazy to me that it makes it seem like this whole town was like, "Yeah, Bubba, complete nuisance. One of the worst people. We're so glad he's dead now."
I mean, they kind of like, so apparently, Bubba does have like a reputation in this town,
Hmm.
and they don't say what he has done or what he did
Uh-huh.
do, but now tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think it's like implying that they think Bubba like molested these children or whatever,
Yeah, that's
and
kind of what I'm thinking. At least that,
and
because I felt the same, because that's the only thing you could explain.
right, but I mean, they because like the I guess like the turnaround is the reason why that was because like Bubba's mom was like, I know it was you that did all those things,
Hmm.
to Charles Durning, like, and so I'm like, so was the whole time like he was doing stuff to children and like just blaming it on Bubba?
Yeah, it doesn't really go into that enough to really get that out of that, but maybe that could possibly be it. Like Charles Durning just used him as a scapegoat, right, for what he did.
That's what that's what I took away from it.
Mm.
And I was like, that's what I was kind of like, okay, I guess he's like the only thing that makes sense in my mind is that Charles Durning did something to these kids and blamed it on Bubba.
Maybe. That would make sense. I know it's because the ghost of Bubba tells the little girl about Charles. But like that makes sense that maybe like the kids are scared of him. Like that adds an extra layer to it.
Well,
Um,
and and Charles Durning also does like that bit or whatever where he runs into the girl at that function or whatever, and she's like, "No, you don't have to be afraid of me. I'm a mailman. No one's afraid of a mailman," type of thing.
yeah, the more you talk about it, the creepier it gets.
So
Maybe
that's why I was like, I that's the only thing that made sense in my head.
Well, maybe that was part of the original script. So I did read some of the history of this movie, and this movie was written not to be a TV movie. It was meant to be produced as a full horror movie, but CBS ended up picking it up, and it got toned down a little bit on its move to TV. Um, which is why a lot of death scenes and stuff like that it cuts away from, even though some of the death is a little violent, like there's a bit of blood here and there, but maybe it's because it's the TV format, they couldn't really get into sexual situations at all, but violence
No,
is fine. um
yeah, I mean, it would be like, oh, there's a little droplet of blood or whatever, and it's just like, oh my, so scandalous for TV back then.
exactly. Oh yeah, people were flipping out.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so what happens after they kill him and they're celebrating and everything is one of the guys sees a scarecrow. And it's just made of straw, but it appears out of nowhere, and especially when it's not planting season. So what it is Bubba, or actually, the movie plays it like a mystery where we don't know quite
yeah.
who's like if it's a haunting from Bubba or if it's the lawyer setting things up, or like Charles Durning, he gets crazier and crazier and thinks the people that also like he killed him with are doing this. So it's like it is a mystery movie. I never felt quite like it was a mystery to me. I kind of felt like it was a supernatural thing, and I'm happy it went that direction because spoilers, it is like the ghost of Bubba that is killing these people.
Really, I felt the opposite.
Really? You wish it was like a reveal?
Oh, well, yeah, because like I kept thinking the whole time, I'm like they're implying that it's something supernatural is behind there, but I'm like, I just didn't expect it to be like something supernatural. I thought it was going to be like somebody was a witness there, or I thought
Mm.
it was going to be something like I like he's like one of the co-conspirators was like the one doing it or whatever. Because midway through the movie, Charles Durning actually murders Bubba's mom too.
Yeah, on accident,
On
covers her
accident.
mouth and then kills her.
Yeah, explodes her house too.
Yeah, just to like, oh crap, I gotta get rid of evidence. Yeah, and her whole house blows up.
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of was thinking like, okay, maybe there's going to be some type of reveal or whatever. Like, or I thought it was going to be something like, I thought it was going to be like the little girl's mom. Like that was going to be like my guess because she saw Bubba like, because Bubba came to like her doorstep being like, oh, here's your daughter. Basically, she's hurt
Mhm.
really bad. And I thought it was going to be like, that was going to be the thing. Because there's that one point at the very end of the movie, like the girl trips and she yells for her mom,
Uh-huh,
and I'm
yeah.
like, oh, okay, so it is her mom,
And that
and
wasn't
then
it.
no, that was not it at all. And so then whenever did the reveal that it was a ghost movie. I was kind of uh, like
Yeah,
just was not feeling that.
I guess I liked it because I feel like we watch a lot of movies like this, and this is kind of an early slasher. Well, actually, no, it's in the slasher era where like it has to have a big reveal. And I kind of like we've watched a lot on here that have like a mystery and like you got to solve it kind of deal. And I like that there is no mystery here. They're like, oh, come to find out, yeah, it really is just a supernatural ghost killer. I feel like we don't see that a lot, so I kind of like that it went for that. But I can understand like the idea of like trying to build up to solve it and then it just kind of a letdown, which is a letdown
Yeah,
ending.
it's
That might be your theme of this week. Hint, hint. Maybe we'll see.
maybe. Um, well, you like this ending, so I mean, it won't be for
Well, for I
you,
said for
but
you, for you.
yeah. But
And who
no,
knows? I
I
might have loved the next ending.
maybe you're just fooling. Maybe you like this ending too.
I did. Wait, I no, I
Uh,
actually
or
I
maybe
like
maybe
this ending.
maybe you didn't like this one ending.
Okay, yeah, yeah. But go ahead. Who said
No,
something?
I do. I mean, the ending I didn't care for, but
Mhm.
I will say leading up to it, it was pretty decent. Um,
Yeah, and I
I
agree.
I liked like kind of like the slow burn of the movie where it was just kind of like, well, like for one, Charles Durning is pretty much like the main character of this movie,
Hmm.
even though, he's the villain too.
Hmm.
So you're kind of hoping for his comeuppance. And I don't really think we really get that a lot of times from these movies, or if there is, it's usually like, like a group of teenagers or something like that, where it's like, oh, like, a couple of them are jerks or whatever, but then there's like, oh, there's this one good person or whatever, so that we can
Hmm.
relate to them. But and this one is just like, no, he's just a terrible person,
Hmm.
and he's completely heartless, and he's just like slowly going crazy because he doesn't know who's behind all these killings, and he's starting to like just suspect everyone.
Yeah, it does a really good job of like really getting you into like the torture of this guy because like the way they're killed, it's like a slow unraveling. Like he hears about the Scarecrow and is instantly blaming someone, and then that guy ends up dying. And it's like he's trying to put the pieces together, and slowly he finds out that no, this doesn't make sense, and I'm actually going to have to atone for the sins that I committed. It's like watching someone with a horrible past coming back to haunt them, which I think is always satisfying when done well. And I think Charles Durning is very good in this at playing that like slow descent. In the end, he's just pouring sweat, like he's freaked out about all of this. Actually, one of the most inventive things I saw, and I don't know, I just never thought about this. I thought it was good writing. Was the first guy? He ends up getting killed by a vehicle, and they go in there to test if like it was an accident or not by sticking like a broomstick in the gas can to see if there's any gas left. Because if it was an accident, then the gas would have ran out. So they stick it in there, and there's still gas in there. And they're like, oh well, somebody did it because it was turned off at some point. I don't know. I just thought that was like a fun piece of writing to kind of put things together. Um, but
Yeah,
but
yeah. I did. You don't really. They don't really mention those types of details in other movies, I feel like.
No, exactly. But yeah, as we move on, it gets more and more absurd. Like one of the guys gets stuck in a grain silo and drowns to death, which is literally from Jigsaw. Um, so Jigsaw's ripping off of this movie. Um,
Probably.
yeah. And then in the end, the other guy, which is interesting, I felt like the mechanic was also kind of dumb in a way. Like he was getting manipulated by the mailman, and they end up going to the cemetery, and he forces him to dig up the grave of Bubba, and Bubba's body is in there. So he flips out, and Durning, like I thought this was great, was started choking him out on the ground because he's like, it was you, you're the one who did this. This is the only way to explain this. but he stops choking him and just ends up shooting him in the back.
Yeah, when he hits him with the shovel.
That's right. Yeah, sorry. He hits him with a shovel. Um, but
But
it,
didn't you? I sorry. One thing I thought was, I hated that mechanic's stupid polka dot hat. Like I thought it was so ba- bad looking.
I don't even remember it. Oh man,
And
that's
it's like
funny.
he had a he had a red hat with like white polka dots. I'm just like, that's such a stupid looking hat. Like,
Yeah, he got wardrobe like tips from Bubba.
or he just like wore it. It's like, this is my favorite hat. I'm gonna wear it on set. Like, this is my
Yeah,
character.
and they shot this movie like in 2 weeks, so they're probably like, yeah, whatever. Bring your own clothes.
He,
We'll film it.
do you think any of these guys were like, Daniel Day-Lewis method actors, where they just break character the whole time?
Yeah, I heard Larry Drake did that for Bubba.
And just like played on set like as a dead body.
That would, yeah, when I'm dead in the movie, I'm gonna be dead till we get this movie out. Okay, I'm just gonna pretend to be dead. Feed me liquids
Like
or
even
something.
if they need a reshoot or whatever, he's just like lying there on the ground dead.
Yeah, he was a horrible actor, one of the worst to work with. I don't know. For a small movie like this, I'd love to see somebody just going full method for their role. Going to like a
Uh,
small southern town, interviewing the people there, just learning it, and they have like two
yeah.
lines.
Overall, it was pretty good. It
Mm.
was a decent movie. Not great, but it wasn't a bad little movie.
Yeah, no, I thought it was pretty solid. I thought it had some fun moments. The pacing was pretty good. I liked it. I wouldn't say it's like a horror classic, hidden gem, anything like that. It's not great, but like it works for a TV movie, right? Like if this was playing on TV and it ended, I'd probably be like, yeah, okay, cool. That was pretty good. It's good for TV.
Well, so like at the ending, they do reveal that it's Bubba's ghost that was doing the whole thing.
Mhm.
Um, I do you think though, like Bubba is really that sadistic of a ghost? Like, because they trying to portray him as like this sweet, innocent, like
Mhm.
man that just has the brain of a child, and it's like he just does like all these super methodical killings and like really like,
I guess you're right. That is like
did
a
he get
funny thing
smarter
to
as a
think about.
ghost?
Yeah, like as a ghost, did he like, oh man, he just really
He
went
like
to town.
he
Yeah,
just like lost all of his mental handicaps like when he died. He just it's like now you're super smart as a ghost.
well, now you opened up the door to a mentally handicapped ghost, and I wonder what that's like. But no, yeah, I guess you're right. That would be the only explanation because Bubba, as he's portrayed at the beginning of the movie, he would not be able to come up with like, okay, I'm going to lock him in the grain silo, and then slowly I'm going to trickle it in just to scare him a little bit, and then I'll fill it up and like stop it at the right
Yeah,
time.
or like, okay, I'm gonna lure Charles Durning out to the cornfield. I'm gonna use the tractor to scare him so that way he hopefully he runs in a straight line and doesn't take a turn at any point.
Yeah,
And
he doesn't try to zag out of the way.
yeah, and it's like, and then I'm gonna put up the pitchfork so that way he runs into the pitchfork because he's gonna run into it himself. And it's just
I'm not gonna kill him. No.
so that's why I was just kind of like, like I don't know what I mean. That's probably a discussion for another time, but I just thought it was
Yeah.
kind of funny.
No, that is kind of funny actually. Um I guess I didn't think about that. I wonder, like, there's got to be some discussion because this movie's gained a cult status. I guess the creator of Breaking Bad, I guess there's a scene in one of the episodes that's inspired by this movie. So Breaking Bad owes itself to the Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, and you got to go
Well,
back. Mhm.
don't forget there is a sequel to this movie.
Yes, there is. There is a sequel that came out in 2022. Uh,
People were just dying for a movie 40 years later.
yeah, it's so weird. And I was reading some reviews. Not a lot of people have seen it. It's awful. Um, I actually was going to pick it next week just for fun, but I looked it up and I watched a little bit of it just to like make sure it was okay. We will
Oh, you
not.
actually vetted a movie before you.
I know it's crazy because I didn't vet this one. I picked this one out of the blue. But yeah, I did vet it because I just wanted to be sure. And no, it's horrible. It's like filmed like on like a horrible camcorder. It looked boring. It just did not look like it was worthy of even looking at.
No, I didn't. It didn't look very good to be. I just from what I was reading, it's like it almost has like nothing to do with the original too.
Yeah,
Because
that's
like
yeah.
most of the cast from the first movie are dead at this point.
Exactly. Like Bubba is dead, Charles Durning's dead, and I'm sure a lot of other people are dead from that cast. So what's the point?
Yeah. So I don't know, but I was just kind of curious, like how could they even pull that off? But it
It
is written and directed by the original screenwriter, so there's
yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly. So I guess he wanted to return to the idea, but he probably had no money. It looked like a bunch of no. It looked like a Brad Jones movie. That's the best way to explain it.
Now, do you think Brad Jones would have did a good job directing it?
I think he would have. And if he directed it, we probably would end up covering it sometime. He should do that. He
Doug,
should make like a big movie one day, like a movie in a franchise.
Doug Jones could have been Bubba.
I think Linkara would have been a better pick.
Really, Linkara could have been the mailman.
Oh man, you're really selling me on this. Um, well, who does
I'm
Spoonie
the
get to be?
mailman.
Spoonie gets to be I don't know. They'd make it Bubba's dad instead of his mom. hmm
Spoonie would have been like one of the guys, but they just would have put him as like Doctor Insano or something. Just like
Yeah, yeah,
this.
exactly. Yeah. Oh, he's Dr. Insano, people.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean all of those movies are better than the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. So Kick Ass, yeah, better. I saw someone
I
saying
mean,
that.
maybe.
Maybe we'd have to cover it. Which gets me into next week. Nice segue. No, we actually, before we announce that, what are we covering on Thursday?
Well, Nathan, we're going to be talking about 1986's Invaders from Mars, and that is free on Tubi right now.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to watch that one. And if you want to email us, you can email us at driveanddoublefuturepodcast@gmail.com. If you're watching on Spotify, be sure to rate us. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. But until next time.
Until next time.